Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to today's Hangout. We'll be getting started here in just a few minutes, but this Hangout, we're going to be focusing on the implementation of any new tools, any new techniques or strategies that you, the English language educator, plan to implement for this new school year. So that is the topic, and we'll be getting started here in just a few minutes as we wait for hopefully a few more folks to join us. Oh, hello, Nina.
Hi, Benjamin.
Hey, Nina. How you doing?
Hair very short, or your beard or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Or maybe you didn't have a beard before.
Who knows? It changes frequently. I get a haircut every 6 months, whether I need one or not. That's what I tell everybody.
Did I ever see you with a beard before?
Gosh, I don't know. It comes and goes. With a beard, I just changed my appearance. I got a lot of people looking for me. So I guess every now and then I have to disguise
Oh, there was
myself.
a beard. There's a beard in your picture. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
Go
no
ahead.
problem.
It's
No
okay.
problem.
We're just now getting started. We just now started the stream.
You're just hanging out.
That's right.
Incidentally, when you started the stream, that started my the YouTube video. So I was listening double. It was just driving me nuts for a second there. I wasn't sure what was going on, but anyway, I did cut off the stream, but the stream is definitely working.
Okay, great.
I might add that before we get too well underway, that this is a joint event with Learning2gether and TIL, which I now have memorized as Teachers for Interactive Language Learning. That acronym always used to throw me. And it's the 1st of September 2013. And I'm Vance Stevens and Aline, no longer in Abu Dhabi. And Benjamin is in Mexico. And Nina is in Maryland. So hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. I'm going to try and play with my lower third.
The lower third. Yeah, I guess I should get that going. I'll get it going in a minute. Benjamin was just telling me about YouTube Live, a new service from YouTube. You want to
Yeah, I was kind of
repeat that?
I was kind of experimenting a little bit with it yesterday, and it was I don't recall when they first came out with it, but YouTube Live is a service now that is kind of competing with Ustream, Livestream, Justin TV, these live broadcasting websites, and you can now download software. I think Wirecast is a software package that is kind of affiliated with YouTube, that YouTube offers, that you can download onto your computer and basically run a live broadcast through your computer, through the software locally, and broadcast it through YouTube. So now that if you have 100 subscribers or more to your channel, you can enable this function where you can now basically you can broadcast live through YouTube. So it was interesting. It's fairly user friendly. I was kind of experimenting a little bit with the software, but I kept thinking, how this is now going to kind of compete with Google Hangouts, because they're different, but at the same time you are broadcasting live, and it'll be interesting to see how they both kind of form and how they progress going forward, and how people kind of I guess take on to the two services. But have you guys looked at?
I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah, have you looked at that service, or have?
Well, if we're at YouTube, what do we do for YouTube Live? Is there a link at the top or something like that, or I'll just Google it?
It was kind of hard to find. I think the first question is to see if you have 100 subscribers. If you do, then you should have an option to enable the service. So I think.
Oh, you have to have 100 subscribers first.
Yeah. So I think that would be the first condition, I think. And otherwise, I guess you could try to find channels that had more than 100 subscribers, and then perhaps look for their live stream. I haven't tried that yet. I haven't actually tried to look for someone else's live or YouTube live. So I'm not still just barely getting into it. Yesterday was really the first day I started even looking at it. I activated my account yesterday and downloaded the software and just was kind of experimenting, and was able to get it going. But I'm still kind of new to it, so it'll be. But it's not it's not an interactive situation like Hangouts where you can interact. Obviously, it's more of a broadcast type of type of service, and so you really don't have that contact other than following a back channel if you were to use a hashtag, and you could interact with others that way, but you don't have obviously the contact that you have with Hangouts.
I'm still trying to figure out Hangouts.
Well, you're figuring out Hangouts well. You're here.
Well,
that's the main thing.
I started a Hangout yesterday for the EVO coordination team, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out why in that Hangout, which I started, it opened up a separate browser window, and I had to keep toggling back and forth between the separate browser window and the Hangout, whereas this Hangout that I just joined, it's in the same browser with my other stuff, my email that's open. And so do you have any idea why that happened?
The Hangout
Benjamin, is yours in a separate browser window?
It's in a separate browser.
Whoever started it.
Yeah, I started it, and it is in a separate browser. I'm wondering if it's a setting on the actual browser itself.
If it's what on the browser?
If it's a setting, like a setting in the browser, because some browsers you have an option of when you open a new window that it's outside a separate window, and maybe sometimes you have an option to include it in the browser. Maybe I'm not sure, Vance, if you have.
I just thought maybe it had something to do with screen sharing, but I can screen share here, right? As well as
yes.
You can. And it was really annoying to have to keep going down to my taskbar and choosing a different browser every time I wanted to look at it.
But so now it's in a tab, is that right?
And now it's just a tab.
Yeah, mine is too, but when I start a Hangout, it opens in a separate browser. So, and actually, I've that's how you get the URL. If you have the separate browser window. URL in my tab
we
as
have
well.
The URL.
Yeah.
Only Holly was telling me yesterday that when you share that URL, you can knock off the end of it, starting with question mark off user all to the end. She said that she knocks off that last part, so it would end in CB. That people can get to it. But then she says if you leave it on, people can also get to it. And I don't know how she would have discovered that she could delete that particular part of the URL. I don't know what the question mark means. Any ideas?
That's a good question.
Yeah, this is usually some kind of parameter.
It doesn't answer the question that you're asking, which is what, I can't see the whole thing. What new tool, technique, etc. are TESOL educators
implementing?
That's all I see.
Yeah, whoops.
Implementing. Google Hangouts. Trying.
Yeah?
Trying.
Oh. Whose phone is that?
That's my phone, and my husband is about to answer it.
Okay. Do you know, Benjamin, that Nina is the, what's your role? We call it the chairperson?
No, the lead coordinator. The lead coordinator.
She's the lead coordinator for Electronic Village Online. And actually, that's quite a, boy, you're twirling hats right there. I mean, it's quite a job. You're doing a good job too. I have to tell you that.
Do you think so?
That on recording.
Thank you.
I think so. Yes, because you're intensively keeping up with it, and you learn as you go too. And actually, that's modeling learning, which is what EVO
Well, Vance, I hope that you will be able to say in a month or two that I'm keeping up with it, because as you know, I just went back to work a couple of weeks ago. I have the summer off. I'm 3 months off, and I had a lot of time, and I spent a lot of time doing it. The problem was that other people on the team were less available during the time that I was more available. So I'm hoping. We had a long chat yesterday with 5 people. That was the best attendance. All of us newbies, basically, all the newbies showed up. Me and Holly and Mubarak and Jose Antonio and Elizabeth Ann, who is still in Argentina. But she managed to make it. So, I mean, that's a good thing and a bad thing, because when you have all the newbies, you have, we want to make changes. And then you run your changes by the people that have been doing it for a while, and they're not so enthusiastic. So we kind of get stuck between a rock and a hard place sometimes.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm a very changeable person. I don't mind changing, but I was having a discussion today with a colleague teacher who was telling me that if he had to another class as a substitute, he wanted the students in that class to have the same software that the students in his class had on their computers. How could we standardize that? I mean, that's an attitude that's completely opposite from mine. I mean, I don't worry about things like that at all, But you do get these different attitudes in the workplace, So, and so what that suggests is that he's not so comfortable with the chaos, which is kind of, well, if you're a George Siemens fan, of course, chaos is very important to learning.
Well, Vance, so, I think
that's how you learn. You resolve chaos.
You're much more comfortable with chaos than I am.
I probably cause chaos.
So, do you remember? Is it okay, Benjamin?
Sure. No, absolutely. Go ahead.
I asked Vance an EVO connected thing. Do you remember when we had a chat way back when? And you were there, Vance, and we talked about Michael. Welcome.
Hello, Michael.
We talked about rather than having a week-by-week syllabus, having a checklist. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then
yes, that's in training people, having a checklist, benchmarks that they have to complete, rather than putting everyone through the one-size-fits-all program.
So I was making a checklist, and then people said, well, some people, especially new moderators, will need a week-by-week syllabus to go by. So I made a week-by-week syllabus.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway.
I guess with Multimooc, which is my session, I've got a week-by-week syllabus, and at the end of the syllabus, there's a checklist, or at the end of the week. So you don't really have to. I try to make it clear you don't really have to do all this stuff. Just do what you want to do,
But what we were trying to do was to appeal to the returning moderators, such as yourself, that could look down the checklist and say, okay, I already know that, I already know that, I already know that, I've already read that, I've already done that. And then they could see a few things on the checklist that maybe would be good for them to do. Something new to try.
If you're on the checklist, there should be for each week, teach us something new.
But
should be on the checklist.
I don't know if you remember, but we, at that point, were talking about one big checklist for the whole training, so that returning mods wouldn't have to do the week by week. They could do it in any order they wanted to. And we were going to try to encourage them to come to the synchronous meetings to interact with the newbies. So anyway, it's a work in progress. So what new tool, technique, etc. are TESOL educators implementing?
Actually, if I could ask a question about EVO, do you have now the courses that you're going to offer in January? Are those established yet, or is that still in the works?
No. Would you like to offer one?
Well,
the call for proposals deadline. I mean, the deadline for proposals September 22nd. You have 3 weeks
to propose it, and then you have another couple of months to develop it.
So, if how long are the courses typically? If you could maybe explain a little bit about how.
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Yeah, they're 5 weeks long. They go. I don't have my file here or the numbers in my head, but from around the middle of January to the
end of February.
And is there a specific platform that you use, is there a certain amount of live synchronous
No,
time,
you get to pick.
How does that work?
You can like.
Yeah. Well, what our fallback traditional interactive space is Yahoo groups, but after going to Yahoo groups yesterday and seeing that they have totally overhauled it and seeing how many people are enraged by all the glitches and bugs and problems and things that they like that they can't do anymore, and I'm wondering what's going to happen with that. And so you need some kind of interactive space where your people can interact asynchronously, and then you need a content space like a wiki or a blog where you could, or some kind of website where you post your content, your syllabus, maybe your readings or videos or whatever. And we encourage you to set up synchronous meetings every week if you want. Not everybody does that. I participated in an EVO session last year, neuroscience and education, which had no synchronous meetings. I still learned some very interesting stuff. I was lurking mostly, but it was still interesting. But I think most of the sessions do something synchronous. Vance, do you agree?
Yeah.
On different platforms.
There are no. What you do is you propose something, then if you participate in the training, which doesn't, is experience to try to bring people into the culture of EVO. So, just the fact that you're in the Hangout or doing your own Hangouts and that sort of thing means that you'd be a great moderator. Any of us would, actually. And so you can basically innovate. You can do what you like. You can do the things that Nina just mentioned, or you could do some of those or more. Me, I like to. I have a few spaces that I've got a community approach to my own EVO sessions, and some people have the opposite. They have a one-off every year. They have a different tag and
right.
So some people like to keep, wipe the slate clean, bring people in to this session and do it that way, and other people, well, myself, I like to keep a community going, so that.
I think I know of two other communities like that. One is the mentoring community, and the other one is the ESL through drama group.
Yeah, so you could do it either way. So, and here again, as a community, or as some, we've all obviously got some spaces that people are already in, so we tend to do those. Some have disappeared, like NEAM, something like that. But in any event, or Apostrophe also. Those two of them that we were using that. But I always try to bring in new spaces. So I think last time we tried Edmodo. Google Communities obviously is one that people will be using a little bit more now. Got a Facebook group, things like that. So there are various spaces that we experiment with to try to understand how how they work and which ones what affordances are associated with which.
Okay.
And of course this. Yeah.
So essentially, then in your proposal, then you include which platforms. Or which platform you're going to use, and how the synchronous asynchronous pieces would work, and.
Yeah, okay. You decide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I may put something together and see if there's any room for something there for. I'm thinking in terms of Canvas, which is something that I'm working with this semester, so perhaps
that'd be very nice.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be great. I'm resisting Canvas.
Why? You're resisting Canvas.
So
okay.
Well, because we have Canvas. It's new at the university. We've had it for about a semester.
Okay.
I work at the University of Maryland, and I don't know. I've just used nGrade for years, which is a free open source online gradebook with a calendar and quizzes, and you can do much of what you can do in Canvas and nGrade, only I don't have to learn something new. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to admit that. I guess I'm lazy. So I'm looking here at the website that I just put up and realizing that, okay, call for proposals. Let me share that with you, Benjamin.
pbworks.com. It's evosessions.pbworks.com.
Okay, I see the link here.
Oh yeah.
Put
Oh yeah.
pbworks.org.
Sorry. So here's this second one is the call for proposals, and the other one, if you changed org to com, would just go to the front page of the wiki, which is the call for participation.
Okay. Is there an easy way that we can quickly include also these links that we're sharing in the chat so that those who are watching the recording...
I just did that, but let me put the first one in correctly now.
Because I don't believe that the chat will appear in the recording. Is that correct?
Okay, so I can say it. It's the call for proposals. Well, I mean, you would just go to evosessions, pbworks.com. pbworks is pbworks.com, and then from there you can look at the call for participation on the front page, and then over in the sidebar you click on call for proposals 2014 to get to that.
Nina, is it .com or .org?
It's .com.
.com.
It's .com.
pbworks.com.
Okay.
That was a senior moment, Benjamin.
Ah, okay. Okay.